I never thought that I could go to prison for preparing fraudulent tax returns. I lost all my houses, all my money, my stock account. People that I thought loved me, betrayed me, cooperated against me. I could have quit and gave up. Nah, not me, man.
We gotta end this story.
Why?
I just.
You got water in your eyes.
The starting over was so fucking hard.
August of '87, I was enrolled in college at Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia, as an accounting major. I do 3 semesters, right? And then my addiction takes off. Now I'm just getting high to the point to where I'm not even
Going to
school. I ain't working. I ain't doing nothing. My life is just completely falling apart. I'm 21 years old. This is 1990, and I just can't believe, like, the mess that I done made in my life, right? And I'm telling myself, like, yo, Sean, man, you better than this, man. You better than this. You came down here to go to college, man, and look at what you're doing, man. But I didn't want to admit, like, that I had a problem. I had a problem with that, right? Because I thought that was a sign of weakness, for a nigga to be like, oh, I can't control my drug use. I can't control my alcohol. I can't control my weed. But that was my reality, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was my reality. And I ended up going to a 28-day treatment program in Smyrna, Georgia. And I got clean, and I never looked back, man. I never got high after that since.
So you got out. Well, what'd you do? You went back to school?
This facility, this 28-day program changes my life. They say, Sean, man, you got to go to 60 days aftercare twice a week, and then start going to meetings, man. Start making AA meetings, start making NA meetings, you know what I'm saying? And at that point, they had CA meetings. And I did everything they told me, man, because, drugs and drug addiction, man, that shit beat my ass, man. Nothing's ever did me like that, right? The pain, the psychological pain, the spiritual pain, the lost hopes, the dreams lost. Here, I leave Jersey to go to Atlanta, to go to college, get an accounting degree, right? And like I told you, all through junior high and high school, I'm gifted and talented, right? Academics has never been nothing for me. To read something or math or none of that shit is small potatoes. And here I leave Jersey to come to Atlanta, and instead of getting my degree and being in college, I'm in drug rehab.
Right.
So my self-esteem and I really ain't digging myself too much at this point. So I do everything they tell me. I stay out of school about a year and a half. I'm working. And then I call my mother. I'm like, yo, Ma, I want to go back to school. I want to finish my degree. And she was like, you sure you want to go now? Because I ain't going to be spending all that money now up there. You up there messing around. I said, Ma, I want to go finish. And she paid for me. She paid my tuition to go back. And then I finished up with the best grades I had ever made, man. And ended up getting my accounting degree, finishing up with a 2.8 GPA. And caddying, I'm back at the golf course. Caddying while I'm in school, because I'm going to school in the AU Center, Morris Brown College, which is a historically black college in Atlanta, Georgia. But I'm going up to Marietta, Alpharetta. I'm caddying at these golf courses because I started caddying back in Jersey when I was 16. So, when you caddying at these private country clubs, all these dudes, they either own something or they're the president of something or they're the CEO of something. So I got a job right after I graduated. I think I worked that job like 6 months, and then I wanted to always work on Wall Street as a stockbroker. And so I left Atlanta and came back to Jersey.
And would you get a job there? Did you get your...
When I got back to Jersey...
You got to take all those tests.
I sat for the CPA exam twice, failed it. Both times, didn't study. I thought I was just going to be able to pass it. But I didn't really want to be a certified public accountant, like sitting in an office and shit and just crunching numbers and shit all day. So I go back to the golf course.
Well, you said you wanted to work on Wall Street, so
Right,
you have to
right,
take the series what 6?
Right, but I did. So I had caught a felony. When did I catch my felony in Atlanta? I caught my felony in 92,
For what?
selling drugs. This is after I get clean. This is after I get clean. After I get clean, I come up with the bright idea. So, well, listen, now I'm gonna start selling to make back all the money that I spent getting high. So I started doing that. Bright idea, right? So I started doing that. I get busted, right? And I get a felony, first offender. They had a first offender program that if you completed your probation, you didn't get prison time, but if you completed your probation, they would wipe your record clean.
Or they adjudicated the sentence, or what do they call it? They expunged it, or there's a name for it. I know what you're talking about.
Right. I don't know what they did or whatever, but anyway, I ended up violating the probation like a month before. I only had 6 months. I ended up violating the probation in like the 5th month. So the charge stayed on my record.
What
right?
was the violation for?
I had a curfew.
Oh, okay.
I had a curfew, and I went to the club one night. My probation officer followed me down there. And
Jesus, he was taking it a little serious, wasn't he?
This is the 5th
For a guy
month.
on 6 months probation, you're following him?
This is the 5th month, man. Yep, she followed me down there. She called me the next day. She said, Mr. Gunby, where was you at last night? I said, I was here. I was home. She said, the last time we seen you, you was on 85 going down. And I had went to 112. It was a club called 112 in Atlanta at that time. So she said, "Would you need to come on down here with your toothbrush?" And I went
for
down.
A month?
They arrested me, man, and that knocked me out the box from that first offender joint. And yeah, so now the felony is on my record. So I can't work for a financial institution. I can't work for a bank. I can't work on Wall Street. All of those dreams are dead. So I come back to Jersey, and I'm caddying on the golf course, and a Polish dude, man, white man, he took a liking to me, and he placed accountants. He had a placement firm, a recruitment firm, that he placed accountants. So he said, Sean, then you get your degree. He said, what you doing caddying, man? And I told him, I said, man, you know what I'm saying? Fucked up, man. I got discharged. And he said, bring me your resume. He said, come and see me on Monday. Bring me your resume. So I went up to his office and seen him. His office was in Totowa, New Jersey. I went up there, and he took my resume, and he got me a job. He got me a job. And I think he forfeited his fee as a favor for me to get the job with the company, because when they place people, the company pays them. I think he told him, man, don't worry about it. Just give my man a job. Right. He's
nice.
Cool. I know him. He's all right. And I got that job, and I worked that job. I got that job in 95. I think I stayed there till like 99. Got promoted, and I ended up doing what I always wanted to do, which was mergers and acquisitions. Went back, got my master's degree with that company through a tuition reimbursement program, and worked in the accounts receivable department, the compliance department, the law department, the finance department, and ended up eventually became a senior business analyst doing mergers and acquisitions across the country of real estate companies, working on small deals of $10,000 roll-ups to $100 million companies.
Okay. Well, so why'd you leave there? Would you go start your own thing, or?
They passed me up for a promotion, man, and it pissed me off, man. They passed me up for a promotion. I was doing the mergers and acquisitions, right? I was the senior business analyst, right? It was another dude that was doing the same thing I was doing, but I trained him. So the director's position comes open. It's got to be me. It's got to be me. The VP hires his homeboy from a whole nother department who went to the same college with him. They started the company at the same time. Hires him to come in and be the director. And this motherfucker didn't know nothing about how to do reconstructed EBITDA, put multiples on company. He knew nothing. I had to train this motherfucker, man. And I was hot. I was hot. They tried to talk me out of it. They gave me a little raise, but I was hot, man, because that was supposed to be me. So then this other company who was doing the same thing we was doing, they stepped to me and gave me, I think it was like $72,000 a year. This is in 1999, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm single, I ain't got no kids, no lady. So I took it.
It's good money.
I took it. And I stayed there. After I got there, like 30 days, I said, man, this ain't. Like the money sometimes all money ain't good money, right? And because you get a promotion or a raise with another company, you're making more money. You know, there were intangibles that I had with the company that I started with. Like I can leave when I want, I can come when I want. Everybody knew me. You know, you got freedoms.
Yeah.
Then you get to the new joint, it's a different set of rules. It's more structured, even though I was making more money and I didn't like it. So I left that and went into entrepreneurship, started my own business.
What was multiple business or just or one business? What'd you do?
That I started when I left the corporate world? Business brokerage.
Right.
Right.
Business broker. So you're selling businesses? Is
right.
that what it
I'm
is?
helping business owners sell their businesses. So what I did was the companies that I worked for, we were going around the country buying up real estate companies, right? And
So you know that's a thing.
right. So when I left them, I said, well, I'm going to approach these companies that are trying to sell themselves, tell them to let me represent them, and I take 5% of whatever the purchase price is.
Because you know what these companies are looking for.
I know what they want, and I know how to do it, and I know I got the phone numbers to the right people to make it happen, and I started doing that.
See, to me, I'm thinking, so I go in, I cook the books, make it look like what they want, but that's probably not what you did. You probably had a different tactic.
No, I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
So how long did that last?
I didn't sell not one company.
What?
I had Matt, I had a credit card with a $5,000 limit. I think I had about $6,500 in the bank. I had about 11 grand. Man, I went through that money in like about 4 or 5 months. You know, entrepreneurship is tough, right? I ain't got no food in the crib. I'm eating motherfucking canned beans, loaf of bread with tap water. But I'm focused. I'm going to get this business off the ground. And I ended up finally getting a deal in Cincinnati. A guy let me help him sell his company in Cincinnati, and I got a commission from that. And then I got another 5 companies up in Pennsylvania. And but I pivoted to that because my mother, she told me, she says, well, why don't you do taxes? And I was like, man, I don't want to do no taxes, man. That shit is beneath me, man. But after I left the company, ran through all my money, I was dead ass broke. I decided, I said, you know what, I'm gonna start doing taxes, man. So I did my first year of taxes. I think I did the 1999 year. It was 2000, so I did the 1999 year, and that was the business that, you know, I took that eventually from doing 19 returns the first year to becoming a millionaire doing that.
Yeah, it's funny. I have the company next to there's an insurance company or agency that was right next to my mortgage company, and the girl or secretary, I don't know what she was, she worked there. She worked for this guy selling insurance, right? But for 2 months out of the year, she did taxes. You know, she's a H&R Block approved, whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I asked her one time, because I used to go to her when I had clients that had 1040s, and you know they'll make $150,000 a year, but they're telling the IRS after the write-offs they're making 15.
Right.
So I'd go to her and be like, listen, I need to fix this so that this guy, it looks like this guy's making $90,000 a year after the write-offs, and I'd pay her $50, she'd fix them, give them to me. But I remember I asked her one time, I said, because literally for those 2 months, they would put a sign up saying they're doing taxes. And I was like, what do you, I don't understand will you do taxes? And you also like, I said, what do you make doing that a couple months out of the year? And she said, honestly, I was like, yeah. She said, I make about $40,000 working for Ron or whatever the guy's name is. And she said during that 2 or 3 month period, she said, I make another $40,000.
No question.
So she was in 3 months, or 2 months, she was doing this. So she's like, I'm making 80 to 90,000 a year.
I used to do 200 grand in February.
You know, so if you think
50,000 a week.
So what do you do the rest of the year? Are you just doing bookkeeping?
Chilling, nothing.
Oh, I wouldn't do bookkeeping for people like
Nah, I didn't want to.
My taxes are horrible.
No,
it's horrible.
But I had got my real estate broker's license too. So
with the felony,
yes.
See, people tell me that all the time. Oh, you got a felony? You
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can. I know
Absolutely.
Lots of people that got it.
Absolutely. So the business, the tax business was slow in the beginning. The first year I do 19 returns, right? I think I make like, how would I make? $2,000 or some shit. The next year comes around, I keep going, and the money is tight. So I start teaching at 3 community colleges in northern New Jersey: Essex County Community College in Newark, Passaic County Community College in Patterson, and Bergen Community College in Paramus.
What are you teaching?
I'm teaching math.
Okay.
You know, because I got the
you had an accounting degree.
I got the accounting degree, and then I got my master's in finance, my MS in financial management.
Okay.
So I'm teaching math at these colleges, doing taxes and caddying. I go back to the golf course. The golf course has been a savior for me, man. But eventually, the tax business grows. It grows every year. It grows every year. And by the time 2005 rolled around, I was able to. Was that 2005 or 2008? By the time 2008 rolled around, I was able to get my own office. You know what I'm saying? I had my broker's license. I sat for the real estate exam. And when you go sit for the test in Jersey, when you pass, you have to do this questionnaire. And one of it was, have you been convicted of a felony? I checked yes, right? Don't lie to them. And so they didn't give me my license right on the spot like they was doing everybody else.
Right. So you still had to take the class, then you still had to take the test, and you did. So when you passed all that,
right?
You passed. They're supposed to be like, you passed.
The same
You're
day,
good.
The same day, but they was like, nah, you got this felony. You know, you're gonna get a letter from Trenton, which is the capital of New Jersey. So Trenton sent me a letter saying like, yo, what's up with this felony? Send us the disposition of the case and write a letter. I did that. I called down to Atlanta. I got the disposition of my case, all the paperwork, wrote a letter, sent it in to them. About 2 weeks later, they sent me my license.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I've heard people say that they actually had to go like talk in front of there was like a 3-panel board, or 3 people you go somewhere, or now they probably do it on the Zoom, where they'd go and they'd just ask them a couple questions. They'd send them the same stuff, but they'd ask them some questions. Well, what I'm doing now, boom, boom, boom. I was 21 years old. It was a stupid mistake. And then they're like, okay, cool. He's never been in trouble since then. He's doing a bunch of good stuff. He's good. So all right. So you got your license. You're doing all kinds of stuff. Are you married?
No.
No girlfriend?
Bunch of girlfriends.
So what happens? How do things progress from there?
I'm selling real estate. I'm doing short sales. I become very adept at doing short sales.
So what's a short sale? So, by the way, I know what a short sale is.
But you want to know what the people need to know.
Yeah.
So around 05, 06, 2005, 2006, 2007, the real estate market is going crazy. That's when they're doing all those banks are selling those CDOs.
Yeah, the subprimes.
The subprimes, the CDOs collateralized debt obligations, and they're selling these packages, and interest rates are low, and the values of properties going through the roof. You ain't got to put no money down. As long as you breathing and you got a social security number, they're going to loan you $500,000 to get this house. So remember when Bush comes in, the economy crashes. What do they call it? The Great Recession or whatever?
Yeah, the 2008 financial crisis.
Right. So when that comes in, now everybody who got these loans that they couldn't afford from the door, and the prices, these inflated prices of real estate, when that shit happens, everything crashes. The property values come down. The subprime market crashes. Now people
are 6 months behind on their
people
payments.
are underwater in these houses. They don't want to pay. So what a short sale is that a house that got a home buyer bought in 06 for $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now in 08, after this
It's worth 250 or 220, right?
the subprime market crash, right? Now it's worth 210, right? So the people are underwater. They stop paying. So what I would do is I would call the bank. I would go to the homeowner, get them to write a letter giving me authorization to speak to the bank on their behalf, and that I was going to get them out of the situation that they were in, where they were paying, for a house that didn't have its value. And then I would go straight to the bank and say, look, I can sell this house, tomorrow, for $200. I know that you owe $300. Y'all got to take $100,000 hit. And most of the times they would be like, all right, bet.
Right. So it's a short sale because they're willing to short what they're owed for a sale as a result of them having to foreclose on a property. Because typically a foreclosure, they get about 70 cents on the dollar of what the house is really worth. So if the house is really worth 210, they're not even going to get the 210. They're going to get 30% less than that.
And have to continue to pay the taxes on it.
And they're worth, and they've owed $300,000. So your deal is better. It's better that way. Plus they get the keys back. The people don't put up a fight. You
get somebody else in the property. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's all you need is somebody walks in front of a judge trying to foreclose with a couple of little snotty-nosed kids, and they're like, or they bring some kid in with an oxygen masks, and they're like, Your Honor, my son he's on oxygen. You can't throw us out. And the judge says, oh, give him another 6 months, give him another year, you keep doing that. Like, there were people, there were years they were staying in houses.
Yes. So it's, you take the short payoff and you get the shit off your books and you move on to the next deal.
Right. Yeah, which is obviously, that's different than a loan modification. Did you ever try and do any loan modifications or no?
I did.
Like not 2009, wasn't that later? Like
you bring that term up. I probably did, but I was really locked in on them short sales. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because the loan modifications were where you would go to the bank and say they'll restructure the loan, take all the payments, put them on the back of the loan,
right,
lower the rate, and then they'll start paying again. But they can't pay $2,000 a month; they can pay $1,500.
Right,
and the bank would remodify the loan and say, "Okay, we can do that."
Right. So all the payments you missed up front, they would put them on the back end. Right.
Or sometimes they reduce the rate. So I mean, not the rate. Sorry, the principal. Sometimes they say you owe us $300,000, but the house, you're right, the house is worth this. Whether it's your fault or the economy, whatever, we'll refinance it essentially for 110 and make the payments on 110 on the better interest rate, and then suddenly it's something they can pay, as opposed to just leave.
Yeah, I didn't do too much of them. I was just typically on the short sales, and I was buying properties at the time. So my principle of myself was I was going to buy one house a year, and before I ended up going to prison, I had 9 houses.
Nice.
So I had my property management business, I had my tax business, my consulting business, and I had my real estate brokerage business. All legitimate business.
You don't have time to do anything. You have nothing. You got no time.
I was busy. I didn't have no kids at the time. You know what I'm saying? I was dealing with a lot of ladies at the time. So that's what it was.
So how long? So this continues until... And then, until today, and everything's great, and I appreciate you stopping by.
No.
Is that not the way it works?
That ain't how the story. That ain't how the story went, man. That ain't how it went.
So what happened?
So I'm chilling like Matt Dillon, ain't robbing, ain't stealing. I'm getting money, my money tall. I'm dealing with a bunch of women, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm flying to Africa. I'm flying all over the world. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never had this amount of money in my life. And, I had achieved a goal. My dream was to become a millionaire, right? Because I had grew up caddying on a golf course and I saw these rich men. And I said, I want to be rich too, man. So I achieved it. I achieved it, man. And, you know, it was a good feeling, man. It was a good feeling. I had bought some stock in Sirius Radio. This was before they merged with XM. It was Sirius Satellite Radio and it was XM Radio. That shit had blew my account up. My TD Ameritrade account I had about 656 grand in that. And like I say, my tax business was bringing me in like 400,000 a year. So I was chilling, man. I didn't have no kids. And then one morning, April 14th, 2011, 2 days before the end of the tax season, I leave Jersey City. I ride to my office in Clifton. I get out my car. And that night, Matt, I didn't sleep right at all, man. That whole night, this shit just wasn't right. So I get out my car, I'm walking to my office, and two big white boys jump out of this Camaro, like from Transformers Bumblebee, with the yellow Camaro. They jump out of the Camaro and shit. They got the badges. My man had the search warrant rolled up. He says, "You Sean Gunby?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, this is a search warrant. We're from the Internal Revenue Service. We coming upstairs with you." I said, "All right, let's go." So I'm walking upstairs. They right behind me. I open up my door. Then I open up my door to my office. And I go in. I set my keys and shit down. And then when I turn around, man, it's like 20 agents just come right in my office, man, with the goddamn windbreakers, with the navy blue windbreakers, with all the letters and the alphabet on the back. It's like they had a windbreaker convention at my office, man. Everybody had a windbreaker but me.
Is this all IRS or was FBI?
FBI was there, IRS Criminal Investigation Division, IRS, ATF, they all was there. And that was another pivot moment in my life, man. Changed my life, changed the trajectory of my life. First in a very negative sense, but if it wasn't for that incident, I wouldn't be who I am and where I am today. So sometimes you got to crash and burn in order to get right, man.
Well, why did they come in? You said with 5 minutes earlier, you said, I had all these businesses, everything was 100%
Well, I was
legit.
getting people back bigger refunds than what I was supposed to.
So how did that happen? And how did that first start? Like, what was the first time you did that? And you know what I'm saying? Like, how'd that happen?
Well, what I would do, clients that had...
What year was this?
That they came to my office?
No, the first time that you started doing the
I can't really remember a date,
taxes.
but I'm gonna tell you like how it started. Like initially when
was it a few years?
Yeah, it was after, because I started in 2000. I would say probably by like 05, 06, I was helping people. Now, you got to understand, the larger part of my practice was just straight 1040s, earned income credit, single mothers, 2 kids, put the kid on there, blow up the return 8,000-9,000, you know, and I would take my fee off the top, give them the refund anticipation loan. I had a relationship with a bank out in California, Santa Barbara Bank and Trust, who would do the refund anticipation loans for me. And that was the bulk of my practice. Now, I did have some clients that...
So it was very standard. It was bop, bop, bop. It was just, you put it, they give it to you, they put in the information, this is what it is. It's
right.
It's normal. That's perfectly legal.
Right. But then I had some clients that made $100,000, $150,000 a year, you know, at that time, which was a lot of money, who didn't have a standard return. They would itemize on a Schedule A, right? Where you can write off your charity, your medical, your work clothes,
your car, your mileage on your vehicle,
if you did all that mileage,
room.
all of that, right? So now on those returns, and then if you had rental property, I would do a Schedule E for you, or if you had a side business, you would do a Schedule C. So the more funkier the return, you know, now I know places where I can sharpen the pencil to lower your taxable income, therefore lowering your tax that you have to pay. And that's when I started doing that. And that was probably, as my business grew, more and more of those clients came. And I just, I used to just do that shit like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even think I would, because I got caught up in being the reputation of, Sean gonna get you, Sean gonna straighten you out, man. Sean gonna get you right, Sean gonna get you back a lot of money. And I let that shit go to my head instead of saying like, yo, Sean, you need to do this shit the right way. You understand? But I was getting so much money. The money got me drunk, man. It got me, the amount of money I was making intoxicated me, man. It made me reckless and careless, man. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, like, so you're fudging the numbers a little bit.
No, I ain't fudging them. I'm lying.
Right.
I'm straight up lying,
Well,
man.
I mean, we talked about it. I was like, so you're doing that. How long? So that, and then what happens? Like the first year that happens, you do it and nothing happens and you don't hear anything. So you feel good about it. Like you become emboldened. Like to me, every time I got away with something, I became emboldened.
Ain't no question.
Oh, I'm just so good. They didn't even care. Oh, I'm good. Now I keep pushing that envelope and pushing it. And
ain't no question. I never thought, first of all, Matt, that I could go to prison for doing what I was doing, right? Which was helping people get bigger refunds than what I was supposed to, pretty much preparing fraudulent tax returns.
Right.
I never thought that.
Well, they're signing the tax return. They're saying that they've looked at the numbers and they're right. Like, aren't they taking that liability?
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. But what that lady tell me? Who told me that? She says, Sean, but you're right. It is their responsibility, but you're held to a higher standard because you have the accounting degree and the master's degree, so you know better. That's what it was.
Yeah, I knew. I remember a guy that he got in trouble one time. He was just a general contractor. They said the same thing where he put the pitch of a roof on different. Like the customer was like, no, I want the roof to pitch this way. He was like, yeah, but you're supposed to do this. They said, no, but I want it to do this. And he was like, and the guy's like, well, I mean, I'm paying for it. He's like, okay. So he pitches the roof. And what happens is there was a rainstorm and something got clogged and the roof fills up with water and it collapses and the guy sues him and the insurance company sues him. And he goes in front of the judge. He says, look, the guy signed a change order. He's the one who said this. He signed off on everything. He's like, and the judge was like, yeah, but you're the contractor. You have a license. You have the knowledge.
This is what you do.
Yeah, you knew better.
Right.
He can say, I didn't know, but you knew. So yeah, that's what I was saying. Like same thing with like being a real estate agent. You'll get in trouble even though when the customer tells you to do something. Yeah, but you have the license. You know what I'm saying? So I can see. But how did they get onto you? Do you know how they got onto you? Like what was the issue that brought it to their attention?
I don't know, man. I don't know if it was, jealousy. I don't know if it was my brother. Some other was doing returns in dead people's names and shit, inmates' names. They got jammed up. And, I don't know. It could have just been the computer saw the number of returns I was doing and picked up. I really don't know. But, when you're successful, a lot of motherfuckers hate you and they'll do shit to you, you know what I'm saying, to trip you up. So
I got a question. So how does the transaction work? Let's say like I come in and I'm just like, hey, random guy, can you file my taxes? Like what makes you decide, okay, I'm going to get this guy a larger return? Are they specifically telling you, or how do you choose who you're going to give a larger return to? Or is it just everybody?
All right. So the thing is this, right? So I had, to answer your question, Cole, so I got this reputation of being the bad motherfucker that could get you a nice refund. So when they walking in the door, the expectation is there and I'm going to fulfill your expectation. So when I run their numbers straight up and down like 6 o'clock, I tell them, say, look, this is what you owe, this is what you're going to get. They'll say, well, man, can you put a little on top? Can you do better? Can you get me more? Well, I'm saying your refund's $2,100. This could you make it $3,300? Could you make, because I got to pay some bills. All right.
I mean, you don't say, yeah, I can, but for not at this fee.
Right. Obviously,
I mean-
I'll say, all right, I'll hook you up, right? And I hook them up, and then I put a little more on top of my fee, right? Now, if the situation is they come in and I run the numbers and they say like, yo, you owe 11,000, and be like, Sean, damn man, I ain't got 11. All right, let me fuck with it for a minute. So then I bring that 11,000 down to 2,200. They like, yeah, I could do that. But then obviously my fee is gonna be a little high because I'm taking a risk with you by doing this. So that is how that went. Now, I had some girls who were from Mexico or El Salvador, Guatemala, from Central America, who had got into the country illegally, didn't have a social, weren't citizens, but they had babies here after they got here. And the babies had social security numbers and birth certificates. And they would come to me every year and say, Sean, can you I'm going to give you my kid's information. Can you give me $600 for each kid? She had 3 kids, so I give her $1,800. And then I would take these 3 social security numbers and put them on some clients that I knew that if I put those kids on there, the earned income credit will blow up to the maximum size.
What's the maximum size? Like
Well, it depended on
$3,500,
it depended on like if you made about $14,000 or $15,000 and you put 2 kids. This was back in 2010, 2009. I don't know what the number is now. The returns will come back like 9,000, 8,000, right? So I'm happy because I'm paying her 6. She's happy. I'm charging the people 9, so I'm making $300 on every kid, and then the client is happy because they getting this big ass refund. And that's another thing that I used to do. And I used to keep the kids on the same tax return every year. I wouldn't move them around.
Yeah, I was gonna say you
gotta,
that would.
No, you got to keep them on the same one.
I should have a question because on the Ian Bick one you mentioned, you talk about this the chick coming saying, "Hey, I got." You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the girl that went to the other.
Yeah, she says like
majority black college that set you
the
up.
black girl, the FBI agent.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the black girl that was the FBI agent.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I don't like you. You're saying like right now. You're saying I was doing this. I don't know how they got here. They showed up with a warrant. That was it.
Well, we didn't get into that. You didn't ask me that.
Well,
Let's get into it now,
okay.
though. So,
like that's what I'm curious about.
So, before they come with the warrant, they sent one of their people in,
Okay.
right? Which was the black girl. She came March 11, my birthday, 2011, to get her taxes done. And she came in with a generic return that should have been the joint to where I plugged the numbers in and there's nothing left to do. She doesn't itemize, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I should have just put her shit in and did it right. But she came in and she was like, oh yeah, what's going on? You went to Morris Brown? I said, yeah. She said, I went to Johnson C. Smith, and I had all my pictures when I traveled all over to Africa. And she attempted to befriend me and bring my guards down. And I went through her return. I asked her, did you go to school? All the questions I would ask to see if I can do something in your return to get you more money. And she was like, nope. She didn't have none of that. And but I ended up getting her back a bigger refund anyway. I did something, I can't remember, but I got her back more than what she was supposed to. And the day that they came with the search warrant, 2 special agents sat me down and they showed me that W-2. They said, you remember this?
Right.
And I looked at it, I said, oh shit. I said, yeah, I remember it. They said, you got her back $1,400 more than what you were supposed to. I said, yeah. They said, you do this all the time? I said, not all the time, but I do it. They said, about how many clients do you do that with? I don't know, but I do it. And That's how that went. That's how that went. They came, they interviewed me, they sat me right in my waiting room, man. The one motherfucking agent.
And this is when everybody else is going through the other people have shown up?
No, this is early in the morning. Ain't nobody there yet.
Oh, this is before the search warrant.
When the black girl come?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she comes, and then how long before these guys show up?
40 days later.
40 days later.
No, 33 days later. March 11th, 33 days later. So when they came with the search warrant, nobody was in my office. It was early in the morning.
Okay. So these guys show up, they knock on the door, you're there.
No, they ain't knocking on the door. I told you they met me down in the parking lot.
Okay. Well, so you go upstairs or wherever when you sit down with them in the lobby, like what do you think?
No, they come in my office. I told you. Remember I said I opened the door and opened my other door, and they came in my office, like 20 of them?
I thought that was a search warrant.
Right.
No, I'm talking about you, the first two agents. I thought you said, am I wrong?
It's the same event. Like the two
Oh,
agents
it's the
showed
same
up,
time.
and
Is
then-
it?
and then
Okay, I
once
thought they
went
showed up
upstairs-
first. I thought they showed up first, showed you the thing, and then later the people with the warrant came.
No, remember I told you, I said I opened up the one door and my other door, and I went in, and then like 20 agents that had the windbreaker convention.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so these guys are, but then these guys take you aside.
They put me in. They said come and sit in the in my waiting room because I had my office, the waiting room, and then my secretary had an office, and me and them sat in my reception area.
I mean, what are you thinking this whole time?
I'm like, oh shit. And then the one agent, he comes, man, this puts his chair, man, he damn near sit on my lap. I'm sitting here, he put his chair right next, like these things here, they was touching. And he's questioning me. And the other one is sitting over there with the bulletproof vest, the thing, the gun and shit, and they start questioning me. And they showed me the W-2. Yeah. And I'm thinking, to answer your question, what I'm thinking, I'm like, and I'm looking at these motherfuckers going through my house. I was like, is this shit really happening? This is what I'm saying to myself. Is this really happening? And that shit was really happening, man.
Well, I mean, once do they take all your computers and everything?
So I'm in there, and they questioning me. I said, y'all gotta go take a piss, man. Cause now I'm scared, right?
Yeah.
I guess I got pissed. So I get up to go piss. They come with me, both of them, in the bathroom. I'm next to the urinal. They standing right there, watching me piss. So I'm like, oh shit. So I finish pissing. We go back. They asking me, Mr. Gunby, I thought you was gonna have on a bow tie today. I thought you was gonna have on a bow tie. Cause I had a wrong tie. I was like, bow tie? Fuck, I wear a bow tie. Oh man, we've been following you, man, for like the last 6 months, And this is, anybody else that's doing this? I says, nah, I don't. I said, if you've been following me, you know that I come here, I work all day, I leave, I may go get me a piece of pussy and go home. If you've been following me, you know that. Okay. I said, man, I gotta go take another piss, man. So I get up, I go back to the bathroom. They come again, both of them, watching me piss. We go sit down. They stayed in my office like 2 hours. And while they sitting there questioning me, some other dude comes and says, what's your password to your computers? If you don't tell us, we're gonna get in there anyway. And I just gave it to him. That was a hell of a day, man. About 20 agents, 19 of them white. One high yellow, he was light bright, damn near white. And the one white girl was the chief. She telling everybody else what to do. You go over here, bring that here. Yeah, you, come here. Yep, right here. I was like, oh, and then they left. They took all of my clients, because when I would finish somebody's return, I had a desk that I would put their returns and shit on, so when they would come pick them up, their refund anticipation loan check would be in there, their W-2s. Yo, they housed all of that shit and took it. So they says, all right, we finna leave. I said, can I still keep doing taxes? They was like, yeah, as long as you do them right. I said, all right. And yo, Matt, when they left and I looked over at my desk where all the returns was and I saw they was gone, and I went and looked at my other office, I said, oh shit, I gotta call these people, my clients, and tell them Bears was just here. That was one of the hardest phone calls I had to make up to that point, man. because they took all of their shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I knew it was real. I called everybody. My secretary had came in while they was there. My secretary had came in. They jammed her up, took her somewhere and questioned her. Yep.
Did anybody else? Was it just you, or were other people? Did you have other people working
It
for
was
you?
just me.
You?
I was a lone ranger.
What'd she say?
Who? My secretary?
Uh-huh.
I didn't see her.
Oh, you never saw her again?
Never see her again until I called her later that day or maybe the next day and asked her like, "Yo, what?" She said, they were just asking me questions and stuff. Yeah, hellified day, man. Then I sat in the office and shit, and I said, "I gotta get a lawyer, man." And I started calling around and shit for white collar lawyers. They was talking like 50 grand. This is in 09. I mean, this is in 011.
I understand.
50 grand. And then that's when I knew I was in trouble.
I paid $75 to plead guilty. Knew I was going to plead guilty the whole time. Told them up front I'm going to plead guilty. 75 grand.
I ended up hiring two attorneys. They would charge me $700 an hour. And every time I met with them, it was both of them. And I think I ended up paying $61,459.47. Two attorneys down in Newark. But that ended up getting that money back because they did some malfeasance. They did some shady shit. One of them did.
First of all, they didn't both have to show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's already.
Well, we knew that.
You're double
We
billing.
knew that. And I gave him $35,000 retainer. He told me 25 on the phone when I got there and they saw how I was dressed. They said, "Oh, it's 35. Whenever you go see an attorney, wear sweatpants with holes in them and shirts with stains on them so they don't think you got no money. Because if you go in there, like I did, with a tailor-made suit, custom-made to fit, they're going to add money on to that retainer and their hourly rate."
You get the lawyers, you sit down, you have a conversation with them. I know this drags out forever. So you have the conversation with the lawyers. What are they telling you?
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep you out of jail. I can't tell you you're not gonna go to jail.
They all say the same thing.
I can't tell you you're not gonna go to jail. Mm-hmm. Okay? And
that must be a class in law school. Always make.
But I'm gonna help you.
Yeah. It's one of two things. They're either doing that, I think you're gonna end up in prison, or they're telling you I can keep you out of prison.
But my man was good though. My man was good. He was good. He got referred to me. I had went to see this other attorney who was a former
prosecutor,
AUSA, who had went into private practice, and his father was a judge before him in the same district, which is in Newark, New Jersey. So I went down to see him. First, I went to see these two dudes, and they told me $35,000 retainer, $700 an hour, $1,400 every time you meet with us. So I'm like, oh shit. And he told me, he looked me dead in my face, the lawyer. He says, maybe you can't afford us. There's other guys out there that are cheaper, but this is what we charge. So I said, I'm gonna come back. Let me go search around. So I went and saw this other lawyer. He was like 25 grand. But he said, Sean, you know what, Sean? In federal cases, there's really not a whole lot of lawyering that goes on, right? Whatever your base offense level, your base offense loss level is, and whatever the sentencing guideline range says, that's what it's pretty much gonna be.
Right.
And I left and I went to the bathroom to take a piss, and I said I should have asked him about the two dudes that I left to come see him. And I was coming out the bathroom, he was walking down. I said, hey man, let me ask you something. I said, what you think about these two dudes, man? This one dude in particular. And he told me, he said, Sean, he says, if you can afford him, go with him. He's got connections in Washington, D.C. He is your man for your kind of case, if you can afford him. And when he told me that, because he could have just been like, fuck them, give me the 25 grand, I'll represent you, you know.
Yeah.
But he kept it real with me, and I went back and I hired them. And I went with them. I gave them 35 grand, and we started rocking, man. We started rocking. And then we went, I never will forget this day. Because I had to go back. I kept telling my lawyer, like, I got to go get all my people's shit back, man. They W-2s, they checks. So he arranged for me to go to the search and seizure section where the IRS, they had all my stuff. And we went down there, I got it. And then while we were there, me and him sat down and the feds showed us the video of the black girl that came in with the camera on her coat and showed the whole video of me and her exchange of me preparing her taxes. And when I seen that, I said, I just got to fall on my sword. You know what I'm saying? They got it. And, you know, from that point, I knew I wasn't going to trial and none of that shit. He was just telling me, he's like, Sean, let's just slow it down. You know, any case that goes to court fast can't be good. Let's let some months, maybe some years go by, and they'll forget about you. And then when we do go, it'll just be something like, oh, this is on the docket. This is 2 years old. All right, whatever. What do you want to do? What are you going to do? All right, do it. And that's what I did. But in the process of that, I'm out in Vegas, and I get a voicemail from the attorney. And I answer I go on my voicemail, I listen to the voicemail. It's like a 2-minute long voicemail. And he leaves a message. Yo, Sean, when you get back, man, we're gonna go meet with the government. We're gonna, get this thing going. So as soon as you get this message, call me and talk to you soon. The puts the phone down, but don't hang up the call. Don't hang up the phone. So the shit is still recording. And I hear him say to somebody in the background, oh yeah, this is Robin Hood. He's giving his clients fake deductions. This is Robin Hood, taken from the rich, given to the poor. So I hear this shit on my voicemail, and I'm like, he ain't supposed to do that, right? Attorney-client privilege is one of the main ones is confidentiality. What I discuss with you as my client.
Maybe he's talking to the other lawyer. No?
I don't know.
Okay.
Right? So I started to call him right back and like, yo, man, what? But I said, Sean, chill. He said to meet him there Tuesday. Meet him there Tuesday when you get back. And I went and I picked up my son, little Sean, from the daycare. And we rode down to Newark, and I got a speaker, like a Bluetooth speaker. I plugged the thing in, and I'm waiting in the conference room for him to come in. And I got the goddamn thing ready to hit the play button with the speaker joint. So
why are you mad about this? Because you think it's he's not talking to another lawyer. You think it's a third that he's divulging your personal information or your personal.
Ain't no question.
Okay, well to me it is a question because it could be the other lawyer. You said there's two of them.
Check me out. So,
or did he say fucked up?
But why would he? Why would he?
Is it mocking? Is it like mocking? Like he's a jerk? Or
I can't remember.
Okay.
And I don't want to start lying on here. So I get back. They come in. The private investigators there. I'm paying this motherfucker. You understand? Then this other white girl is over here. I don't know what she did. And then the two lawyers come in. And my son is there. And my son is 2. He can't sit still for nothing in the world, making all kind of noise. But for some reason on this day, he's sitting in there, we in his room. He's as quiet as a church mouse on Sunday. He's just as cool as a fan. So they come in, they sit down, everybody sits down. He says, what's up, Sean? I said, man, this is what he said. I said, man, I got a problem. Let me let you hear something, man. So I play the voicemail. The private investigator put his head down, The white girl back there, she started doing it. She started writing. And my man who said it, face turned as red as this wall. And I pulled out all of my checks that I had gave them, which was $61,459.47. I said, now, where on this check, where on any of these checks do you see Robin Hood on here? See, this is my name. And he just started stuttering and I said, look, you breached attorney-client privilege, confidentiality. I don't know who you was talking to. And I said, I want my money back. He said, we're not going to be able to do that. And the other lawyer, the other $700 hour lawyer said, ho. He looked at him like, are you crazy?
Yeah, you don't want to fight this back.
Right. And then he stepped in and said, Sean, hold up for a second. You know what I'm saying? Let us get some understanding of this. And I packed up my shit and I dipped. Right? And I waited about a day or two. I called him. He didn't pick up the phone. I kept calling him. He never picked up the phone no more. I'm calling the general counsel of the firm. They never picked up the phone. Right? And all I wanted him to do, he could have kept it though. If he would have just got on the phone and said, yo, Sean, man, I fucked up, man. My bad. I was wrong. You understand? Meet me down here, man. Let's go get a hot dog. Let's go get let me buy you a hamburger and fry. Let me get you a slice of pizza, man. Let's talk it over like men. He didn't do that. And this was a super lawyer, the way he was known nationwide. And they tried to keep $20,000. They wanted to give me back $42,000 and keep 20. I said, no, I want all my motherfucking money back. They gave it all back to me. And then I got a public pretender and went on and pled guilty. I was devastated, man.
Devastated to plead guilty or devastated
No,
by
I was
what
devastated with the lawyer situation. The whole thing, man, I went into a depression for like 3.5 years behind this shit, man. I had a $1.2 million net worth. I lost all my houses, my principal residence, all my money, my stock account, everything, man. People betrayed me, man, cooperated against me. People that I thought loved me, man. The only thing that kept my candle lit in my soul was my son.
Well, so are you saying that you lost it because you lived off of that equity in it? And
I started making desperate bets in the options market.
Okay.
With my money.
So the government didn't take it.
No.
You were living off it. You were gambling.
Right. Because I thought they were going to freeze my shit. I thought they were going to freeze my accounts. I had $275,000 in my checking account, $656,000 in my TD Ameritrade. I said, these motherfucking crackers going to freeze my account. So let me take this money and double it and triple it. So if they going to take anything, let them take that $900,000 right there, and I'm still going to have cheese. But one thing you don't do is you don't make financial decisions under fear, depression, worry, anxiety, and lack of sleep. You're bound to fail. And that's what I was doing. And that led to my demise, man. And it was just a downward spiral from there, man. Self-fulfilling downward spiral, man. My thinking, I was fucked up, man. You know, my life got real dark, man. But I had my son. My son was the light. Kept a nigga going. My son was the light. He used to tell me, I'll be in my house, Matt. Obviously, when people find out that the feds come, the phone goes dead, right? Nobody's calling. I had called AT&T. I said, yo, is my phone on? My service on? They was like, yeah, sure. Nobody called, kid. But prior to them, everybody called. Yo, sure, let me borrow this. Let me get that. All the honeys, take me out to eat. This and that. So nobody I'm like the plague. And my son would just out of the blue come up to me and say, Dad, I love you. And I would look at him like, why? Because I hate me right now for what I've done. But him saying that to me would make a just go like one more day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how I did it, man. He the only one that came to court with me. Me and him caught the train from Jersey City to Newark. He came to court when nobody offered to come. Nobody came but me and him. And they took him out. When they was sentencing me, they took him out in the motherfucking, in the hallway.
So what were you charged with? What was the dollar amount they connected to you? 28
count indictment of aiding and abetting in the preparation of fraudulent tax returns. I pled guilty to 1 count. My base offense, my category was category 0, level 15, zone D, $84,000. So it was mandatory incarceration.
How many months?
18.
18 months for $84,000?
I went to prison, nigga. They sent me to prison. They wanted me to cooperate, but I wouldn't do it. So Sean, you can wear wires and shit. You could wear cameras. You could do 5K1s. Man, I ain't doing that, man. Got here.
Did you get the 3 levels? Did you get the 2 levels for acceptance of responsibility and the timely? You got all 3 levels. You still did 16 months?
I did 15 months, 15 days, and 19 hours.
18 months. You got sentenced for 18.
I got 18 months on 84 racks.
For 84 grand?
Sure did. That's a true story.
Something's not right there.
Why it ain't right?
Not that what you're saying is not right. The fact that you had to go to prison for $84,000 in the feds. I mean, typically that would be
home confinement or probation.
3 years probation.
Yeah, not me. And I had my drug case from Atlanta, it was so old, I didn't have like no criminal history.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was okay. So
because if it's over 15 years old.
So if you told me that when you were category 1, I'd be like, okay, yeah, then maybe 12 months, 12 to 18 months.
But look,
that doesn't even count.
I was glad, man. I was glad to get that 18 months because look, it really was more than 84,000.
Right.
You understand? It really was more. Right? And you know what's crazy? I never shared this story. I'm going to share it with you. I had a loaded 9mm Beretta pistol, brand new joint, at home in my crib with a big bag of hollow tip bullets. Right? That I was already a convicted felon that I wasn't supposed to have. But I kept one in the crib anyway because I lived in Jersey City. I lived in Chilltown. They did not go and search my house. They only searched my office and they dipped. And I said, after they left the office, I said, these gonna go search my house and find that joint.
That's 3 years mandatory minimum.
That was 60 months mandatory minimum for a gun.
If
convicted felon?
No. Convicted felon's 3. It's 5 if
it's in a drug transaction?
Yeah, drug transaction.
Well, whatever it was.
It was more than 18 months.
Right.
Right. And there's no way to break the mandatory minimum.
Right. And remember, the day of the search warrant, my son is not born yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My son is born 40 days later. They don't arrest me at my office. Remember I told you they came, they was there for like 2 hours. They took all the shit and then they dipped. And I said, yo, can I still keep doing taxes? I said, am I under arrest? They said, no. I said, can I still keep doing taxes? They said, yeah. They dipped. Now, if they find the jammy, they taking me with the tax case and the pistol case they taking me to the joint and I got to fight my case from inside, which is vastly different from fighting it outside.
Right.
So when I had a chance to step back and look at it, I was blessed.
Right.
Because I got to be in the delivery room to watch my son come out, right? I'm the first person that nurse took my son out, gave him to me first, right? I named him after me. I went to the baby shower. I bought all the cribs, the diapers, the onesies, the bottles, all of that, car seat, right? Because I'm out, man. But if they find that jammy, right, I ain't doing none of this. I don't get to name them. And then maybe I don't get to see him for what? Then they probably lay it on with the tax case instead of an $84,000. Nah, nigga, it's $300,000 or $500,000. So we're gonna hit you for a nickel on the tax case and another nickel on the gun or 36 months on the gun. I may not get to see Sean till he like 8 with no connection to him. So when I had a chance to look at everything, man, I was blessed, man. I was blessed. It didn't feel like that when it was happening, but after I got to prison and you look at things, you'd be like, okay, it could have been way worse.
Yeah. Well, plus sometimes you start to hear other people's sentences too.
Oh,
and you start
man.
going, Jesus. This guy got 8 years. This guy got 14. This guy got 20. This guy's been here he worked his way down to a camp. He's been locked up, 15 years and he got another 6 years to go. And you're like, oh my God.
Right. Like,
have you got through that? Because even when it doesn't matter, everybody's always, no matter how much time you get, it always feels massive amount of time. It always feels like, oh my God, how am I going to do this?
the time wasn't bad when I got to prison. That was a relief. It was from the search warrant to the sentencing, man.
I was wondering.
That was the torture.
Not knowing.
The not knowing, are they gonna give me home confinement? Am I gonna go to prison? Are they gonna give me probation? That was the torture. You understand what I'm saying? I had knew I was done with crime before I even went to prison. You know what I'm saying? And there, yeah, obviously when you get in there, you doing the same shit over and over every day, and the monotony, you like, yo, this shit is so corny. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never coming back here, man. This shit is whack.
Once I got used to it, I liked the, you know what I'm saying? I liked that everything was
The structure?
Yeah, the structure of everything. Like I got into where it's
Start
just
programming.
Yeah, you just
Me
boom,
too.
boom, 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 boom. Where it felt like the time started but it took years to get there.
Yeah.
Years before I finally, I always say whatever, first 6 months or so, you have to you lower your expectation of life. And once you get to that point and you start just enjoying normal things that you can do, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
At that point, but it takes a while to get there.
Once I got in there, and like you say, man, you start hearing the stories, man. You lost 19 million, you lost 80 million, you got 2 cases, 80 million and 110 million, and they gave you 10 years. You got 200 million restitution. You lost 250 million, and you start hearing the time, 13 years, 20. You be like, oh snap, man, let me go lay on my bunk and keep my mouth shut, man, and be happy with what I got, because my shit could have been a lot worse.
Did you get halfway house?
I declined that because of the stories. You didn't finna jam me up in no halfway house. I did all my time at Morgantown. When I left Morgantown, I flew from Pittsburgh. I caught the bus. They dropped me off at the bus station in Morgantown. I caught the bus to Pittsburgh and caught a flight from Pittsburgh to Newark, New Jersey.
If I didn't need the money, I would have skipped the halfway house because it's such a nightmare. And you hear but I had no money. I have no money when I get out, so I know I need to work 6 or 7 months to try and get enough money, because otherwise you can't just let me out on the fucking corner with no money. Like, I got nowhere to go,
Right.
But I remember thinking if I had 10 grand waiting for me, I'd be like, no, I'll do all my time here. I don't want to take halfway house.
Right. I get out of Morgantown January 22nd, 2016.
Okay.
I go to R&D. my man Chip sent me a pair of drawers, t-shirt, Nike socks, brand new Nike sneakers, brand new Nike sweatsuit, a Nike long sleeve joint, so that I didn't walk out of there with the green,
or
the
the gray sweatpants and
right, the prison issued release clothing.
yeah, they're not letting you leave with that outfit. They're gonna put you in some almost like just. Oh, have you ever seen the blue jeans they give you?
Nah,
It's something that it's like a hobo pants. They're literally hobo pants. Like if you laid them out, they're exactly like they look like two rectangles. Like they're straight down rectangles where they had two rectangles for the legs, and someone's and they've got that's it. It's denim material. It looks like something that somebody in the 1930s during the Depression would be wearing with a practically with a tie or something. I mean, it's that bad because I've seen them and I was in R&D when I was not packing my stuff, but preparing to do stuff, and I saw those pants and I was like, thank God somebody mailed me some blue jeans. Everybody needs a good pair of jeans. What I like about the Perfect Jean is that the moment you put them on, they feel like sweatpants. They don't ever pinch or bind up. As a matter of fact, they're super stretchy. There's never any point where you feel like they're binding up on you or they're tight or they pinch you or anything like that. They're comfortable in pretty much any position that you sit in. They're really great. They're comfortable and they look great. Normally, a good pair of jeans costs anywhere between $150 to $200, but the Perfect Jeans are reasonably priced at $79.99. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc or Google The Perfect Jean and use promo code COX15 for 15% off. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code COX15. Please support our channel and tell them we sent you. Your khakis, get the Perfect Jeans.
My man Chip, man, he mailed me some clothes, so I walked out of there looking right, man. So I fly back to Jersey. I got $1,900 to my name, and a young lady that I was dealing with let me get released to her house because I lost my house in Jersey City. All of my properties went into foreclosure. The 9 houses, my principal, everything was gone. And so I get to Jersey and my truck won't start. So I got to take 500 of the 1,900 and get it fixed. So now I'm down to 1,400 and I go pick up little Sean. I go pick up my son. And that's where my journey started, man. When I got out, that's where my journey started.
So is your son's mom, are y'all cool?
No. My son's mother was my secretary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So no, we're not cool, no.
What do you do from there? I mean, what do you have a plan to start working, to go work for somebody, to do something? Because you're on probation. You got out on supervised release, right?
I got on supervised release. I had 1 year.
Oh, that's not horrible.
So I go to Newark. I meet with my probation officer. I check in. And then I call this dude I used to trade with in the World Financial Center on Wall Street had told me that when I got out, he was going to give me $25,000 to start up my account so that I could start trading and get back on my feet. That I couldn't find him. Couldn't find him. I think he was under investigation for some insider trading or some shit he did. He skipped the country or some shit he did. So then I called another guy who knew me from my days working in corporate America doing the mergers and acquisitions. He had started his own private equity firm. And I called him. I said, look, man, let me come and work. You ain't even got to pay me, man. Just I'll come and empty the trash cans. I'll go get y'all coffee. I'll go get you guys lunch, whatever. Just let me do something. And I sent him all of my paperwork, and he sent it all back, and he never called. He that got declined. So I went and I applied for a job at Wendy's to drop French fries. Put my whole criminal history down. That didn't work out. I'm working out at Gold's Gym. I applied for $9 an hour. I never will forget it, to re-rack the weights. Criminal history, blocked that. They wouldn't hire me. So I started playing poker for a living, right? So I'm going up to the casino. I've dropped my son off at daycare. Boom, straight to the casino. And just the number of hours and the ups, the losing, the winning, the losing, the winning. And so that got old. And I said, I can't do this. And I was on YouTube one day and I saw Keith Kalfas, who's a window cleaner. He's got a big YouTube channel on YouTube. Keith Kalfas, white kid from Detroit, Michigan. He's cleaning windows in the dead of winter in Detroit. And I'm like, damn, it's a lot of windows in New Jersey. Boom, start me a window cleaning business. So I go to Home Depot. I spend $92.80. Get me a bucket, a squeegee, my mop, my pole. Never cleaned windows in my life. I'm an accountant. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? So I go out. This is in July of 2016. It's like 90-something degrees. And I'm walking up and down the street with water in my bucket. I don't even know how to clean a window. And in the same town that I'm from, where people knew me as the big real estate tax guy, millionaire guy, now I'm walking up and down the street with a window cleaner bucket.
Humbling.
Motherfuckers riding by, you know, pointing, laughing. And I go out and I just start knocking on businesses saying, yo, I got a window cleaning business. My name of my business was Window Bright. Window Bright.
You just came up with it, walking down the road, came up with it?
Yo, I had these business cards made up. They were light pink. They had like water and shit on. I mean, light blue. They had water on them. Window Bright window cleaning, man. That's crazy. 551-227-1127 was my phone number. And my first window, I went out the first day, Matt, and got told no the whole day. Made no money. Went out the next day. I think that was the day I went to Rocky's Jewelry in Passaic, New Jersey. And I said, yo, your windows are dirty. Let me clean your windows. He said, how much? I said, $5. He said, I'll give you $3. I said, bet. Run it. And man, I cleaned them windows for that $3, man, like it was a mansion. And he paid me my $3, but that $3 window gave me the knowledge to know that
somebody will pay.
Somebody's gonna give me, I can make money doing this. And then I built up my route. Within 60 days, I had over 60 clients in 5 different cities in North Jersey. Like on Mondays, I would go to...
For more than $3, though.
Yeah, I had some $10 windows, $15 windows, $5 windows. I would go to a different town each day, and I built up a route. And from that window cleaning route, and I was able to take care of me and my son. We didn't get no welfare, no food stamps, no Section 8, no nothing.
How much are you making a week after?
In the beginning, I'm doing like $27 a day. $41 in a day. I'm going out all day. And
this is a horrible story, by the way, so far. I mean, this part of it.
And I couldn't get an apartment because I got the felony conviction, and then I didn't have a W-2 for the whole year I was in Morgantown. So this female friend that I was dealing with, she got me an apartment for me and Sean in her name. And I was going to pay the rent. And she took me and Sean out. She bought us mattresses. She bought us bed sheets, pillows, forks, knives,
This is
underwear,
good
socks.
Friend. This is a good friend.
Paid the rent. And that's how I got my crib. And I would go out, I would make $40, I'd make $27, and then eventually it just grew. It just grew. And then I think my first big account was like 5 Domino's pizzas. First it was like 2 of them. I went to one Domino's pizza and the dude said, yeah, you could do them. And I got another store over here. He was in Newark, and I got another store in Kearney. And I went, I started doing them, and then my shit just grew. And then I got a Burger King, and then I got, some Taco Bells, like 8 Taco Bells. And then, it was plenty.
Do you still run that today?
I still got my Taco Bells, absolutely.
No, I mean, just in general.
The smaller accounts, the $5, $10 accounts,
Yeah.
I don't do. I just do fast food, large chain, commercial fast food restaurants.
Okay. How long? And how long? I mean, is that the only thing you're doing?
So at this point,
This is still 2016, right?
right. So I'm journaling. When I get out of prison, I'm journaling, right? To like deal with the psychological issues of like once being a millionaire, now I'm window cleaning. So I'm journaling every day. So I journal and I end up with a notebook about that thick. So I take it and publish it in 3 books. I'm a self-published author.
Mm-hmm.
Name of my book is called Astigmatism in My Soul. You can get them on my website. The podcast was sold.bigcartel.com. So I published these books.
The books.
The books are called Astigmatism in My Soul,
Right.
Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3.
Then you said podcast.
My website where you can buy these books is the podcast was sold.bigcartel.com.
Okay.
So I said, Sean, to promote the book, man, why don't you do a YouTube video, man? That shit gonna get like 1 million views. You get 1% penetration, 10,000 books sold, $10 a piece, 100,000, nigga, you back. So I do the video and it gets 14 views.
I was gonna
Right?
say, if you were about to tell me, so that worked, I was gonna be like, I don't know what happened there.
So I'm like, man, this shit ain't working. But now I start this YouTube channel,
mm-hmm.
and I got the bug. Now I'm on there telling my story on the YouTube channel. And it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. Then I start filming myself cleaning windows. And I named myself the Window Cleaner with Soul. And they love it. Now the YouTube channel is growing. And then I started doing federal prison calisthenics.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we work out. I'm posting that on YouTube.
Burpee,
they loving it.
Burpees,
push-ups, pull-ups, dips, all of that. They loving it. Then this is where it really takes off. I start going around to all the parks in New York City, Brooklyn, Bronx, Newark, Jersey City, Patterson, and I'm filming random dudes doing calisthenics in the park. And the fucking YouTube channel goes boom. And now I'm making enough money on the YouTube to where I don't gotta clean windows. So I sell my window cleaning business. And that's where we went. That's how it went.
So, but now, where are you now? You're just doing the YouTube? Or are you doing anything else?
So the first YouTube channel that I did, I ran that up to about 98,000 subscribers. Then I started talking about politics and the coronavirus, and they shadow banned my page. Took my subscribers down from 98,000 to 78. My money was coming in at like 5,000 a month. Took me down to like 500 a month.
Mm.
So I scrapped that channel. I took it down. And then I started my new channel, which is the channel I have now, which is the podcast with Soul. And I re-uploaded all of my old videos, and I started doing my new stuff now, which is a lot of it is I got a series on there called the Federal Prison Comeback Series. I still do my federal prison workouts. I do interviews.
You stay away from Corona?
Yeah, I don't talk about no politics, no religion, no nothing. I just put my content out, and that's it. And I got a line of hoodies, a line of shirts, my books, sweatpants, hats.
Is this that?
This is one of the shirts right here. This is on my website. You could get that. This is my signature. And I probably done over 100, probably 130 to 140 million YouTube views worldwide. Sold my merch all over the world. You know, and I got a core following, people that really rock with my channel. And they, you know, they like what I do, man. And, you know, the whole redemption story. People like a good comeback story.
And your son, does your son stay with just you, or you share custody? Or
So when I get out of prison, me and his mother, we go straight at it with the battle for the custody joint, because she stole custody from him 27 days before I went to prison. She took me to court and filed papers to get custody of him, right? I couldn't fight it.
Yeah,
because I'm getting ready to get up out of here. But as soon as I touch down, I'm on, you know, I got to get my son, man. And for about 8 years, I had visitation. Legally, I had 50-50 joint custody, right? I had 15 overnights at my house. She had 15 overnights at her house, right? But she was, you know, it was a lot of bullshit in the game. She was putting a lot of shit in the game, right? And I was fighting, you know, I was determined that there was no way that I was not going to be a part of the mental development of my son. And nothing was going to keep me out of his life. And we was in court, man, for like 8 years. And I just won custody of him in June, and he lives with me now. He's 14 years old. Actually, he chose me because we was in court, and the judge said, listen, I don't want to talk to you, and I don't want to talk to you, talking about me and her. She said, bring Sean down here next week, 3:30. And they took Sean down there, and she took Sean in the chambers by herself, and she asked him, said, who you want to stay with? He said, I want to stay with my dad. And that's been it. So I'm a single father, man. That's the best shit in the world. I ain't got a whole lot of money. I don't need a whole lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I done had money. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm not trying to get money. I'm always trying to get money, but money was my religion at one point, man. Money was my religion, and I would, you know, do damn near anything ethical or unethical, you know, risky to get it, right? And what I realized, man, is that my self-esteem and my self-perception and my self-acceptance grew more in a federal prison khaki uniform than it did when I was wearing my $3,200 Hickey Freeman suits or my $1,800 custom tailor-made suits with my name sewn in them, right?
Right.
And that my self-esteem and my self-perception is dependent upon me, not what is on me. You know what I'm saying? So the best shit in the world to me is my son, spending time with him, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Were you were you happier? Are you happier now or before prison?
Ain't no question I'm happier now. I was happy then, right? Don't get me wrong. Having money, waking up and going on your online banking and see goddamn 700,000 in that motherfucker is a good feeling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I want to get that again. But I was a fraction of the man that I am today when I was rich than what I am now, right? I had high triglycerides, high blood pressure, borderline diabetic, right? High cholesterol. I was fat, right? I'm a short nigga. I'm 5'7". I was a $195, 195 pounds. Manipulator, deceiver, liar, right? Like I said about the money. I'm doing anything to get money. And just today, man, you know, I'm 56 years old. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm cut up and ripped up underneath here. I work out 7 days a week. My self-perception is extremely high, right? My confidence is high. I know who the fuck I am. I got boundaries. Certain things I will do And there's certain things I won't do, no matter how much money's involved. And money don't make me, right? I don't need to see a fly honey over there. I'm stepping to her, right? Don't matter. I don't need no car to pull up to rap for me. Sean G gonna rap for himself. You understand? So I'm definitely 11 to 12 times better than what I was when I had money.
When you got caught up, do you think it was the money that motivated you more, or the feeling of kind of being the man that gets it done for everybody that motivated you to fudge the taxes and do that? Like, kind of, do you understand what the question
Absolutely.
is? Yeah.
Absolutely. Good question, man. You know, I grew up with a single mother, right? You know, my mother's foundational Black American woman from the South, from Georgia, picked cotton as a little girl for 75 cents a day, moved to Jersey from Georgia, became a registered nurse, gave me everything. I didn't have no rough life, you understand? I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood. But we didn't have money. We ate off paper plates, you know what I'm saying? No frills, foods, and shit like that. You know, lived in an apartment. I never lived in a house. We had one car, but I had enough. If he got a new bike, Ma, let me get a bike. I got a new bike. If he got new sneakers, let me get. But I always wanted to be rich, right? And working at the golf course and seeing these rich dudes, man, that drove me. The money, you know, because I equated the amount of money I had with success. I was indoctrinated in America. America indoctrinates us to believe that the size of your bank account or where you live or is indicative of your success. And that's a lie. Success is peace of mind, right? Success is self-acceptance. Success is belief in oneself, right? The ability to visualize something and then make it manifest and materialize in your life. That's success. And the money, at that point, I wasn't as enlightened as I am now. It was just the cheese. Like, if I had a lot of money, nigga, I'm better than you, right? And then, so now I get this reputation that I'm the dope. It might have been the H&R Blocks and the other tax preparers in the area that may have put the people on me because everybody was coming to me, man. You understand? So I did get caught up in, yo, Sean get you the big tax return. Sean nice with that. Go see Sean G. Go see Sean. He do taxes. I had him coming from Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, all over North Jersey, Central Jersey, South Jersey. I had people from 17 different states faxing me their stuff, emailing me their W-2s, and I'm preparing, you know what I'm saying? So I allowed myself to get reckless and careless for the money, man. You know what I'm saying? And see, somebody who's looking at this, you done had money, so you understand what I'm saying. But to a motherfucker that ain't never had no money, they ain't gonna never be able to understand this, that once you've had money and lost it, you know, you automatically know you can get it back, right? But then when you don't have it, you understand that there's a lot more to life than just having a lot of money, man. You understand what I'm saying? So that's my relationship with money.
And when all this was going on, did you feel that there was a possibility that you would end up in prison, or did you just kind of feel like, oh, like it's just something small that, you know, it's not going to turn out the way it did? Or did you kind of have that conscience, or what was your mental state?
So while I'm doing these taxes, right, I never thought that I could go to prison for it. But, Matt, while I'm doing this shit on the computer, this inner thermometer in me, man, his voice is telling me like, yo, Sean, you know this shit you doing is wrong, man. You know this, what you doing ain't right. But I'm so caught up in the money, I'm like, fuck it, we gonna run this. Cause I start doing taxes in late December. When I'm get to the end of March, I got $300,000 in my checking account just from my tax business. So I'm running it. But I never thought I could go to prison. I thought maybe, I don't know what I thought. I don't know. I didn't think they was gonna ever, I had no clue. I had no clue, man. But them motherfuckers came and I went to prison.
So you had said earlier that you had the gun at your house. So after they raided the office and they didn't raid your house, what'd you do with that?
So after they raid the house, right? So I'm thinking like, yo, I got that piece at the crib. It was like 3 a.m. I was staying by Sean's mother's house. I jump up. I said, oh shit, they going to my house. I jump in the car. I ride to my crib. I get the joint, right? I jump in my truck and I'm breaking it down into pieces. I'm riding over the George Washington Bridge. I throw a piece over there. I go to Brooklyn. I throw a piece over the Brooklyn Bridge. I go all the way. I drove Queens off the Tri-Borough Bridge. I just throw this everywhere, all over New Jersey, Jersey City. Piece of the gun went everywhere. And I said, I got to get rid of this, man. Got rid of that motherfucker quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say must have got rid of the bullets too, because
no question.
Because did you ever meet anybody? I've met guys in prison for. I know a guy who got 15 years for having an AK-47 bullet in the trunk of his vehicle, because he had like 3 whatever it was, the mandatory minimum for armed career criminal. And he had already been to jail twice for drugs. And then he got pulled over one day and they searched his car and they found a bullet. That's it. 15 years.
That's crazy.
So I was going to say, people
I got rid of mine, man. I had that whole bag. Man, that was a blessing, man. That was a blessing because, like I said, I got to be able to stay out and fight my case from the outside and be with my son, man. That was the only person that really had my corner. That was in my corner, had my back.
So is your channel doing pretty well? Because I'm looking at it, and some of the best performing videos you have all been posted in the last month. Have you? Yeah. Yeah,
my channel is doing good. It's growing. It's grew a lot in the last month because I started covering the Cuffy Big Meech case.
Whoa,
I got a lot of the paperwork, and I've been going through the Franks hearings, the motion to suppress wiretaps and the interviews. And
did you see Wade? Shout out to Wade Williams at Crime and Entertainment.
Shout out to Wade, man.
Yeah. Did you see the one he did with my buddy Pete?
I saw that one.
Yeah,
I saw that one. Shout out to Wade, man, for hooking me up with you, man. Yeah. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I love Wade. Everybody loves Wade.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Wade's wife thinks I'm cool, by the way. Because whenever we go on vacation, and I only do this, I only do this because of my mom. Whenever I go on vacation, I always send postcards to people. Like nobody does that anymore. Mm-hmm. Apparently they don't. I don't know. I thought that's what you do, right? Mm-hmm. And so Wade, every time I've gone on vacation, I send him a postcard. And so his wife gets the postcard. Did you hear this? Mm-hmm. His wife first time I sent the postcard, she's like, what's that? He's like, oh, Matt went on vacation. She sent us a postcard. And she's like, oh, she goes, the thief? And he goes, con man. And she goes, the con man? And he's like, yeah. And she goes, he sent a postcard. And she like reads it and I wrote something. Like I write a little thing. Right. She brought it to school and showed her class. She goes, do you guys know what this is? This is a postcard. And she explains it to people. And the kids in the class are like, why would he do that? She's like, to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Right. Wish you were here. Right. Here's where I'm at. And they're like,
took time out.
Yeah. That's like posting on Instagram for them. And they're
right.
And they're like, I don't understand, But so I send them. So now, of course, I definitely do it. Every time we go anywhere, we got to go get postcards. We got to send them to Pete in case. And Jess is like, all right. But so she thinks I'm super cool. She said for what, something like, I forget what she said. This is probably not what she said. She says how can such a sleazeball or something, she says, have such an old soul, be such an, and he's like, what? And Wade's just
How
like,
old are you, man?
I'm your age. We talk.
69?
69. You're not 69.
1969.
Oh, I was gonna say 69. No, we talked about this 2 days ago.
I forgot.
I was in July. I will be 56.
Right, right.
So you're 6 months older than me.
Right.
No, not even that. You're only a few months older than me.
Right,
Really.
right.
Fuck, it's coming up fast, bro.
4 months.
Yeah, we talked about the whole thing. We talked about going to prison. We talked about how I was like, these guys with how they have the different priorities and they think, oh, it's money means everything. It's like, no. I know guys that probably could be multimillionaires, but all they want to do is like, they're married and they have 2 kids and they teach their kids' little league team. That's all they want to do. And if you said, yeah, I can get you a job. Yeah, I know, but on Saturdays I do this. And you're like, no, but you'll make this much money. They'd be like, I know, but I teach my kids little league. And like, that's it.
That's cool. They cool with that.
Right. That's it.
Yo, I got some crazy stories, man. I don't know if we got time or whatever.
We got time. Listen, I know you've heard this. Multi-millionaires, miserable motherfuckers. And then guys that can barely make their rent and just are the happiest go lucky motherfuckers. I wish I was as happy as them.
So I'm in prison, right? So I'm in prison, I'm at Morgantown, and my bunkie is telling me about, because I'm crying about my money I lost. Oh, damn, man, my money. And he said, Sean, man, you got to speak to this dude. I don't forget his name. He's a white dude, Jewish dude. And so he set it up. So I met him down at Mainline, and me and this dude is sitting down. And he said, Sean, he's from Detroit. He said, Sean, I was worth $30 million, man. He said, I had $30 million. I had my own insurance company. Me and my partner, we had come up with this insurance product. And we had kind of cornered the market. I was flying to Vegas every weekend on a private jet, having sex on the plane with girls, spending $100,000 a weekend with girls and drugs on the plane. And feds came, investigated us. My partner offed himself. And at the end, my wife, my daughter's mother ran off with my daughter. I don't know where either of them are. I haven't seen my daughter in 3 years. I got 5 years sentence to do. I don't know where they are. And they says at the end, Sean, I was sleeping on my sister's couch. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about my little punk ass 1.2 million I lost. This dude talking about 30 million, right? So I say this here to him, Matt, check me out. I say, yo, but Mike, man, don't worry about that, man. When you get out, man, you're going to get that right back, man. You know we get that right back. He looked at me, man, straight face. He said, nah, Sean, I don't want that. I don't want to be responsible for a 26 people payroll. I don't want 3 cell phones where I get 46 calls a day on each one. I don't want 3 fax machines where I'm getting 12 faxes a day on each one. I don't want to go and do meetings. I don't want to sell. I don't want to travel and go to hotels and speak at conferences and meet other CEOs. He said, man, when I get out of here, I want a job that I clock in at 9 o'clock and I clock out at 5 o'clock and I got a 401k and I'm going to go home from work after 5 o'clock and close my door. And I'm looking at this one. And he was dead serious, right? And what he conveyed and what I heard a lot from a lot of dudes, the ones that made big money, was that all they wanted was peace of mind, man.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, just to be happy. And that was profound to me because I found myself, man, even though I was in prison, I was at peace, man. I was at peace with myself, what I had done, what had happened. I had got over my losses. Who ratted on me, who stabbed me in the back, who doubted me, who talked shit about. I had got peace with all of that. And my major focus was Little Sean, man. And like you say, all I wanted to do, you know, my son plays Little League Baseball, elite level Little League Baseball. We travel all over the country. He's a pitcher. And there's nothing better to me than being in the car with him on the highway and going to his baseball games, watching him play. And I'm buying him a $400 bat that I can't afford. Right? And I'm getting them $90 turf cleats, then $80 dirt cleats. That makes me late on the electric bill. But this nigga gonna have these cleats. We gonna show up to the game. You know, he needs a belt. He needs a uniform. And that shit would bring me just sitting in the back of the field, eating sunflower seeds, watching them pitch, spitting out sunflower seeds, you know, driving 8 hours, 7 hours, 3 hours. That, you couldn't give me no money, you know what I'm saying? And that's the shit that he's gonna remember 18 years from now. Man, me and my father used to do this, we used to do it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I can totally identify with what you're saying about the dudes. I don't want all that money, man, my time. I wouldn't want $1 billion, man. I don't want $20 million, man. I don't need all of that money, man. All I need is about 2 million, 1.3, right?
Right.
And I'm going to shut my YouTube channel down, shut my Instagram down, and I'm going to disappear. Y'all going to see me on a milk carton. Where did Sean G go? I'm going to be somewhere in Asia somewhere. I don't need all of that money, man. And you got to hire accountants to watch the other accountants, and nah, fuck all that. You know, them people with all that money, man, ain't happy. All these super wealthy billionaires, man, what kind of life is that? You got 6 cell phones. Everybody asking you for something. Ain't nobody keeping it real with you. They just want something from you.
Oh, yeah. You can't trust anybody. When you have money, you can't trust anything that anybody says. They're all yes men. You know what I'm saying? People become...
They tell you how great you are.
Yeah. That's a mistake. To surround yourself by yes men, that's a sure way to end up going down. The other thing I was going to say is, if you gave me $10 million right now, I'd still do this. You know, I still like doing this.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't close my.
I might keep cleaning windows.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, Matt, I might clean. If I come up on 1 or 2 million, I may still go and get me, you know, a Domino's pizza to clean on Tuesday. I might just create me a day where, because the windows, Matt. Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. And I think I alluded to this. When I get out of prison, right, I lose all faith in humanity because of everybody where they turned on me. And so I do that first window for $3, and that sparks my belief in myself, right? Because being that my whole self-perception and self-esteem was based on the amount of money I had. When I didn't have it, I was down in the Dipsy dumpster. So I'm cleaning these windows and I'm getting paid to do it. These windows become my friend, man, because they're building me back up. They're building me up to something new, right? And this is where it started in prison, my journey to self-discovery and me starting my second act. But when I got out, you know, all of the work that I did, because I just didn't sit in prison and watch ESPN, man, and play casino and play checkers. And, you know, I did some serious soul searching and some serious writing because I knew something was wrong with me for me to end up in prison at 45 years old. And, you know, these windows and just the rebuilding of my life, man, just boosted my self-esteem and my self-confidence in ways I couldn't even imagine. And these are the things I speak to my son, man, that, you know, you have to have a high perception of yourself because that's the way you're going to perceive the world. And that's the way the world is going to perceive you, right? You have something inside of you where you can affect your destiny based upon your belief in your abilities or lack of belief in your abilities. If you don't believe you could do something, man, you ain't finna do it. You see a fly honey over there, you say, man, I can get her number. And then that voice said, man, you ain't gonna be able to get her number. You not gonna go try. But if you look at her and say, man, I'm finna get this number, then everything in you, even the sun, moon, and stars will conspire with you. You'll get cosmic companionship to go over and get that number or start that podcast or start that construction business.
Well, even if you don't get the number, you might get the next one and the next one. It's just a numbers game. You're
There
gonna
you go.
You're gonna get somebody's numbers. You're gonna get one of the numbers. You can't be afraid to fail.
My man.
Yeah.
The fact that you go over there and you fail, you still won.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's winning the battle.
There you go.
The no, that don't mean nothing.
There you go, my man.
Yeah, I always say like I don't mind failure, but I do mind not trying. Like I'll try and fail all day long.
Failure is a part of the game. A lot of people are afraid to fail, but you can't be, man. You can't be. You know how many no's I got, man, when I was cleaning windows, man, the first day I went out, the first week? I could have quit and gave up. Nah, not me, man.
Yeah, we gotta end this. We gotta end this story.
Why? You got water in your eyes.
Oh, bro, I get choked up all the time. This is all about the worst part of these fucking things. Is the end.
My man.
Well, because the starting over was, so fucking hard, bro. So hard. And picturing you, and it's nothing about you, it's picturing you walking down the street with a bucket, going from here to going with a bucket. And, I think to myself, I'm sleeping in someone's spare room, bro. I'm lying. I remember this too. I was in the halfway house, lying to the halfway house, getting my job to cover me so I could go see my mother who's dying. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just so hard. And so to hear somebody go through the same thing, fuck, bro. It's fucked up. It just always gets me. And it gets me too to hear the way your mindset was, because my mindset was the same way, bro. Listen, one time, and I've told this story a few times. And listen, and I felt great about this too, by the way. I mean, like at the time, I couldn't have been happier. My ex-wife who knew me, who still lives in the house that we lived in together, you know what I'm saying? That when I left, like I took off on the run and shit. Anyway, had all the apartments, had everything, still lives in that house. She would go visit, because she's a good person. She goes to visit my mom, right? She's in a retirement community, right? Like a nursing home. And she goes to visit her. And one day something happened where she was there and she needed me to drop her off at her vehicle. So I happened to be going and coming, and she was there, and she's like, I gotta, hey, can you drop me off at my vehicle? I was like, yeah. And she gets in my car. By the way, just gotten out of the halfway house a few months. Gets into my little Jeep. I got a little Jeep Liberty, right? This thing's 20-something years old. Like, this is like the first one they ever made. Get in the vehicle, and we're driving. This is my ex-wife who knew me when I had tons of money. I'm driving, and as we're driving, she said, can you turn on the radio? And I'm like, and she tries to turn it on, and it doesn't come on. And she's like, let's push the button. I go, no. I said, boom, boom, because it had a short in it. I had to hit the dash, and it comes on. And she looked at me like she goes, oh my God. And she goes, are you serious? Like that. I said, yeah. I said, no, it's cool though, right? Because I'm like Fonzie, right? Like you hit the thing. Remember Fonzie? And I'm laughing about it. And she's just looking at me. And we're driving, and then, it's Florida. And she goes, can you turn on the AC? Because the AC the air was on, but it's not blowing. It's just blowing.
Right.
And she goes, can you turn on the AC? And I went, and I hit the button and roll her windows down. She goes, you can't turn on the AC? And I go, that is the AC. I said, oh. I said, you mean like, oh, I said, the AC on the car. I said, oh, no, that's rich. That's for rich people. I said, this is how we're rolling. She looked at me and she goes, you have fallen so far. And I was like, yeah, but it's great, right? Like, I'm driving a vehicle. I'm free. I'm good. I got YouTube. I can watch YouTube. It's free.
I could go in the refrigerator and watch the light come on if there's nothing there but an onion.
Yeah, I don't have to ask Cook if we can watch Walking Dead on Sunday and put it on the schedule.
Or get 190, the hot 190 to make my coffee. I got a stove.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And
Never been happier.
Me either, man. Listen, I tell people, and that's a dope story. My truck blew up on me coming back from Harlem one day, and I drove it all the way back to my house. And it died in my parking lot. As soon as I got in the parking spot, never no more. I called my cousin. I said, yo, I need to get a car for I got to go out and clean windows tomorrow. I go to this junkyard, Matt, and it was a 1995 Camry with the cassette player. The cassette player didn't work, right? They wanted $900 for it. I said, I give you $800. He said, give it to me. I bought that 1995 Toyota Camry station wagon. I had an antenna for the hanger for the antenna. The cassette player didn't work. It only had AM and FM radio. And I used that car for about a year or two to make money and clean my windows and take me and Lil Sean back and forth to baseball. But it didn't even matter to me, right? And I still got pussy with the car, right? The girls still, I didn't have to Cashapp for it. I didn't have to come pick you up in an Audi. I didn't have to come pick them up in a BMW. They got in that Toyota Camry with me. And mind you, now before I go to prison, I got the dope Acura RL, fully loaded, wood grain all over, drop top BMW M3. I'm flannel. But this little Toyota Camry, man, it did the job. And like you said, in that Jeep Liberty you had, I was totally happy. And my self-esteem wasn't impacted not one iota.
And you know what? The chicks that got in that vehicle,
they liked me.
For you.
They was in there for me. When I pulled up in the drop top M3, I didn't know what they wanted.
Yeah.
But when they got in that Camry, I said, yeah, she like me.
Yeah. Oh, you can't believe anything them other chicks say. The chicks that are getting into the Audi with you, you can't believe nothing they say.
Right.
But I could, yeah, definitely.
You know, and I want to say this, man, you know, that for me, for Sean G, don't feel sorry for me, man. Don't feel bad, man. I got a great life. And for me, and I think a lot of people, sometimes you need to crash and burn in order to get right, man. If I don't get busted and go to federal prison and I just stay getting all this money and Sean is born, right? I'm dealing with 6, 7 women at the same time. I'm fucking them all raw, no rubber, right? I'm in love with 3 of them. 3 of them in love with me. They ready to decide on the dotted line in blue ink. I'm tricking with this one. I'm paying this one's car insurance. I'm paying this one's car note. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying this one to come and straighten me out. If I still have my money and my son is born, I don't spend the time. I know how I was getting down. I don't spend the time with him that I did when I was broke because I'm buying him everything. He gonna have all the dopest sneakers, the dopest toys. But the minute when them honeys call and say, Sean, come and hit it, I'm gonna be trying to drop him off by his mother to go, because that's where my mentality was, right? And I would have showered him with material gifts instead of showering him with manhood and masculinity and my soul, right? Because I pour my soul into my son. Because when I leave away from here, that's going to be the representation of me. So I needed what I needed, and it was at the perfect time. The money could come back. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? But when you lose your mind, lose your soul, you know, that's a huge loss, man. You really broke. Like you were saying, you know some rich dudes, they got all this money, but they ain't got no soul. No type of, the kids don't even call them on Thanksgiving or Christmas. They banked up. The kids won't even fuck with him.
Was the celebrity guy we talked to the other day?
Which one?
Well, I want to say I don't remember if this was on camera or not. I think this was off camera, but we talked to a guy. We talked to a guy the other day that his son was upset with him.
Oh, yeah,
The main reason his son was upset with him was not because what he did, not because when he went to prison, but because his son felt like you pissed through my inheritance. Like I would have ended up with that money, and now you're working at like a drug rehab or something. And he's like, you're never gonna have any money, and you're you're not gonna be able to leave me anything. It was just like, are you fucking serious? Like, I mean, it's just like that to me, and the kid says it like he doesn't think there's anything wrong with it, and I'm thinking, like, horrible.
Yeah, he was raised with the
Yeah,
money.
of course he was raised with the money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's just in his mind, he always expected that I'd be getting this money or whatever.
Well, that's
It's
what he
like-
equated his life to. That's
Right.
what he equated a good life
Right.
to.
And of course, he's upset with his father over it. It's like, are you like, bro, like that money is not your problem. You've got a bigger problem than not getting that money at this point, because that's your whole life is money. Obviously, if that's what you're more concerned about the money than the fact that now you have your father back in your life. Like, boy, your priorities. This kid's got a fucking world of hurt ahead of him. So, yeah. Baggy, I'm asking you, Les. Can we wrap this up? Are we?
Yeah. Really quick for your socials. Like, what are you posting across all your socials? Because these people that have listened to this conversation,
What am I posting?
yeah, like on Instagram, YouTube.
You want me to talk into the mic or?
Yeah.
So on my Instagram, I post mostly a lot of positive messages, calisthenics reels, mostly just what I've been talking here the whole day, man. Believing in yourself, self-confidence, self-esteem. On my YouTube channel, I do a lot of calisthenics videos, but I'm doing the interviews of the federal prison comeback series, dudes that have gone to prison, got out, changed their lives, didn't go back to doing what they were doing. And the same thing, self-esteem and entrepreneurship, believing in yourself, man, self-confidence. That's really what my whole platform is geared toward.
Or do they all have the same? What's the handle on all of them?
The YouTube channel is The Podcast with Soul. The Instagram is The Podcast with Soul. And the Spotify, Podcast with Soul. You can listen to me on Spotify. Hey, Matt, man, listen, I want to thank you, man, for shout out to my man Wade from Crime and Entertainment for hooking this up for me. And Matt, man, I appreciate you having me on your show, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, man.
No problem. Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. We're going to leave all of Sean's links. If you go in the description box, so you just click on the link and shoot there to all of his social media, YouTube. You can watch the videos, subscribe, follow. Also, I really appreciate you watching it. Please share the video. Please consider joining our Patreon. It's $10 a month. It really does help Colby and I make these videos. Thank you very much. See ya.